Hey guys, I deliberately had to show my festive jumper because woo, it's the festive season and it's just that time. And I think there's something about jumpers. When you just put on that Christmas jumper, you feel like you're ready. You know, you're kind of gearing up, getting yourself for the Christmas season. I hope you're all having a lovely time. I hope you are kind of looking forward to have some really good rest this Christmas. Hello my loves, welcome or welcome back to my positive space. If you're new to this channel, my name is Araya. You can call me Mrs. A. I hope you've had a lovely week. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today, as you can see from the title of this video, we are going to talk about 10 reasons why you should not overspend this Christmas. Well, it is just about a week, isn't it? This is technically the last week. And I just kind of thought this is the time where people are kind of rounding things up. So people are going to rush into the shops, being tempted to buy things. And sometimes when you are doing these last minute shopping, it might, for some people, it might not be last minute. But sometimes when we get into that festive groove and everything, we get too excited. In fact, we sometimes get a little bit too excited and we tend to overspend. And so what happens is in the new year, people are like, ooh, I'm tired. And I was just like, it shouldn't really be like that. And I have been in that situation before. In fact, I've been in that situation many, many times. But guess what? Next year, one of my biggest plans is to work on my finances. And I'm going to bring you a lot of all the things that I kind of get to know, you know, along the way, and all the things that I'm doing, the things that are actually helping me. I'll be looking to share with you because I'm just like, this is the time. Like, it's got to happen. And I'm looking at budgeting and intentional spending. Okay, so intentionality goes everywhere, into everything. So intentional spending, making sure that we're nailing that security for our future. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get right into it. Point number one, the reason why you do not want to overspend this Christmas is to give yourself financial freedom in the new year. Start the new year on a strong note by avoiding overspending and getting into financial debts. These financial debts can actually become like a hangover that can last you a whole year. There's really no point ending the year on a note where you want to start, you know, good and you have all the goals, but then come January and you're like, boo, girl, I'm scared. And you're kind of waiting for the January pay. So definitely give yourself that financial freedom in the new year by spending wisely. So when you go into that shop and you have that big trolley of things that you possibly don't even need, think about it. Think about your financial freedom. Think about your financial security. Think about the new year and think, actually, hang on, am I going to break the bank accounts by December and be broke in January? No. Number two, avoid impulse spending. Impulse spending is the biggest catalyst, I would say, for overspending. When you get into the shop and you see that and you see that and you see that, I think, actually I need that. Actually, I might need that next week. Impulse buying was one of the things that I used to do. And it wasn't because I was just spending unnecessary. I used to give myself a reason like, if I'll need it next week, I might as well buy it now. But what was happening was every time I bought it, after a while, I realized that if it was like fruits or veg, they probably go off. Or comes the time, maybe something else happens, we end up eating out, I don't get to cook it, and then food is going off, and I'm just like, bro, that's my money going into the bin. I'm not doing that. So for some time now, I mean, I think I've kind of started gearing myself. Like towards the latter part of the year, I started making these decisions for money. And I did a video maybe a few months ago when I said I actually go into the shops with physical cash. And sometimes I just go in with a tenner, I go in with £20, I go in with a fiver. I just go there and get whatever I want and I get out. And then I found myself in a few situations where I forgot that I only had a certain amount of money on me. And I ended up picking things in the basket that I certainly did not need that time or that week. And I remembered, actually, you don't have your bank card. Go put it back. And I did. And I felt like, wow, you know, this is definitely working. It's putting me in check. And if I tell you how much money I saved on my everyday spend, and I'm talking about the home, I was actually honestly impressed. And it's already started making a big difference in my finances. Don't go into the shops and be like, okay, I've got 3 things, and then you come out and you've got 20. You know, if you plan for 3 things and you come out and you've got 20, that means that plan did not work. So have a plan, whatever you're going to get, and stick to it. Okay? Right. Number 3, during this festive season, we need to learn how to focus on meaningful moments. It's not about how many gifts that's under the tree. It's actually about the meaningful moments that we get to spend with our families. To be very honest with you, this year I have not gone crazy on gifts. Almost every year I actually do, but for the very first time, I have not gone crazy on gifts. And maybe just to give a little bit of a heads up. I mean, well, let's put it this way. I think one of the things that we tend to buy a lot, especially for parents with younger children, are toys, because kids love toys. Not everybody does, but most people do get into that whole toy and game and blah blah blah. I think generally, and this is just me, this might not be for everybody, and I'm not saying it's a general thing, but for me, I've never been crazy about toys. Any kind of toys, I've never been crazy, but the children have had a good amount of toys because they've been gifted over the years. Because I was just like, parties and things like that, people are going to give them toys. So I don't ever remember my husband and I going to the shops and going crazy over toys. We never did that in Christmas, birthdays, nothing. But they ended up, they have a good amount of toys. I mean, we invested in a couple of educational gadgets that we thought would help them. And every time I thought of gadgets, I always thought about something they could learn with. Because trust me, children can always find something to play with. They can play with anything. So yeah, let's just say I've not been crazy on toys. But toys are flashing everywhere. Like, they're beautiful. All those cute toys, bing, bing, bing. You go around and the eyes are rolling like that. And like, you dare take your kids to a shop, they will want all the toys. You're not buying everything in the shop, and certainly not with my money. Yes, just really think wisely. Just think it's not all about the gifts. Get your children, your loved ones, your partners, your friends, things that they need. Did I say things that they need? Things that you can afford, that are meaningful. They don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be expensive at all. So think of what you're getting. Think of how much it costs, and just spend wisely. Okay, right. Point number 4, I said stress-free January. And this kind of ties in back to what I said before about having, a new start to the new year. So things like, credit card debts, because a lot of this spending is actually done on credit cards. People buy a lot of things on credit cards. Think about spending very wisely on a good budget and keeping the excess money that you can save. It doesn't even matter how much. It could be £10, £20, £50, £100, £100,000, £1 million, whatever, depending on where you are at. Keep that money. And if you are somebody who has a lot of credit cards, this might be a good time to start setting goals. Okay, so instead of just buying everything on a credit card, start thinking of ways that you can lose yourself, okay, from that entanglement of credit card, because they just make you a slave to the master. Okay, you're just a slave. Like, you're just like borrowing everywhere, and you cannot set yourself free. So stress-free January, it's a good start. You can just focus on all the things that matters instead of having to deal with debts, period. Number 5, emergency fund protection. As we all know, life is full of unpredictable things, and you just never know what might happen in January. You just never know what might happen that might be so important that you actually need that £10. You actually need £100. You actually need that £1,000. You actually need that $200,000. You actually need that $500,000 or whatever that you decide to blow on, like drinks and whatnot and things that you just kind of wasted. You just never know. You might find a situation where somebody is really, really in need, like literally somebody's probably dying, and you want to save them, and you're just like, oh shoot, I blew that money off. Okay, so whenever you're spending, just really think that I don't know what's going to happen. Not that we're predicting negativity, but even if it's to help somebody out, just think that I always need to have something as a cushion on. So it's not so much about talking of being so skinned and so dry, but at every point in time, I think when we budget really wisely, there will always be excess, a little bit of something that makes us feel comfortable and less stressed. Point number 6, gift choices. The choices have to be meaningful. They don't necessarily have to be expensive. They don't have to break the bank accounts. Sometimes you can actually make gifts, okay? Sometimes if you've got talent, you can actually make a gift for somebody. You don't always have to go and buy it. Let's just say if you give a gift, okay, to a child that is meaningful and well thought through, they remember it for a lifetime. So for example, instead of buying a bunch of expensive things, even like gadgets that they might end up trampling on the floor and not respecting it, saving that money and booking like a memorable experience, taking them out for something, these are the things that actually children remember. Grown-ups talk about things that they did with their parents when they were young. So think about it. Is it worth spending a lot of hundreds and thousands of money on gadgets, or would you rather take that time and take that child somewhere and enjoy a memorable time? That's food for thought. Number 7, teaching financial responsibility. So this is where I kind of talked about people actually watch us. So sometimes you don't actually realize that people watch you. You know, people watch you, friends are watching you, you know, your children are watching you, even your partner, like your husband's watching you, how you're behaving, your wife is watching you, people around you are actually seeing how you're behaving. So if you have like a good control of money, the people around you are actually going to pick this up, consciously or unconsciously. They're going to pick this up, especially if you're somebody who is kind of comfortable to some extent. They're going to think, well, that person has money, but they don't even spend it like as much. So that means I need to be mindful of my spend, because if somebody else who has more than me is not just lavishing it on clothes and this and that, then, you know, it just begins to rub on them. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying don't spend your hard earned cash on yourself, because I am an advocate for that. Okay, if you work hard, you need to enjoy it. You need to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about wise spending. So this is when we're kind of spending excessively without meaning. So the people around you are going to see what you do. You're going to lead by example. And you never know, that might actually save somebody a lifetime of hustle. Number 8, future financial goals. Every single penny, every single dollar, every single pound, every single CD, rupee, whatever, euro that you actually save is a step closer to achieving a long-term financial goal. So whether it be like having a dream holiday, whether it be in having a weekend staycation, whether it be like a momcation, a vacation, a whatever occasion, you know, just having that money put aside can actually go towards something else in the future. So whenever you're spending in this festive season, just have a think. You know, next year is there. It's not like we're ending every year this year. The year is not going to end now. Like all the years ahead are not going to end now. So think about all the things that you want to do. One of the things that I absolutely love is visiting other countries. It's something that I have always loved. Like I love to explore. Let's just say I've always been like that. Like as far as I can remember, I love to explore. So I will work hard and I will work towards and I will save for things like that. It's all about pinching pockets of where we can get all these extras and put it on the side to allow us all those luxuries when the time comes. So it's just saving up for some good days. Number 9, quality over quantity. So think about this festive season. It's all about the quality of life, quality of time. And I've always said that time is one of the most important things. And in fact, it's actually one of the most expensive things you can give to people. Sometimes you hear people saying, I'm in a relationship with her, she hasn't got time for me, he hasn't got time for me. These things are an issue. Time is money, so time is precious, okay? So think of those quality moments that you're actually going to spend with your loved ones. What are you going to do? Is probably going to be like a time of reflection, a time of, you know, thinking about what the year ahead is going to look like, the hope that you have, what changes are you going to make. So it's having all those moments and all those quality conversations within that time. And the next and the final thing, which I'm going to tie in, point number 10 is self-care. So self-care also comes in with that quality time. Think about time to rest. One of the things that I'm so looking forward to is having some really good rest, like really good rest, like really, 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 really good rest. Sleeping and not having to think that, oh, I have to be looking at that alarm clock and waking up so early. Just some good quality time, proper sleep in bed in the mornings, I'm also going to use that time to solidify my routine, because look, that's another video that I'm going to bring to you guys. I have been doing my routine, specifically my morning routines. They've been so helpful. But guess what? Your girl is not being consistent. I'm not going to lie. I am not being consistent. And, you know, I like to be truthful. I like to be plain. I like to be honest. There's no point always bringing out the good things and not talking about, you know, the struggles. Like, you know, sometimes I'm not able to get out of bed. And I think it's been particularly difficult because of winter. But it's got to happen. When I've done it, I remember texting my husband and saying, oh my God, this is the most fruitful day like I have had. I slept early, had a good sleep, woke up early, got things done. By the time I go to school, I was on top, like top, you know. And it was just down to the fact that I slept early and I woke up early, and I woke up early before the kids, and I had some time to myself. So in the new year, that routine, because it's going to tie into how I get on top of, you know, everything. And again, my finances. These two things are going to be top of my list, and I'm actually going to hone in and narrow down on achieving a couple of things before I move on. So, you know, at some point I'll be sharing some of those things with you. But this festive season should not be a season of overspending, because when you do that, you are going to set yourself up for a tired, and I mean tired, you know, tired. Oh, okay. Let's get serious. You know, you're going to set yourself for some kind of tight corner in the new year. And we don't want that. You're not going to start the new year with hassles because you did not make the right choices. So hopefully this video is going to save somebody. This season is a season of love. Be grateful. Think of the people that are so important to you. Spend that quality time. Spend whatever you have. It does not matter what you eat on Christmas Day. It's not like we have some kind of tick list in heaven which says, did you eat lamb? Yes, you're coming to heaven. Did you eat roast turkey? You're probably going to be in the how do you call that, rooftop? Is it penthouse? Yes, you're going to be in the penthouse in heaven. Did you eat fufu with no meat? Well, you're staying on the ground floor apartment. There's nothing like that. Yes, the point is, have a wonderful time. Just enjoy the moment. Find time to rest. Find time to appreciate life. Find time to reflect and remember that people who started with you, some of them did not actually finish the year with you. We are hoping for a wonderful end of the year. We are hoping for God's protection and strength, that we'll be alive and that we will have good health. And we are hopeful for the new year. So when you go into the shops, remember, new year awaits. Do not break the bank over the holidays. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Don't forget to leave me a comment on how you are going to be spending your Christmas. Buzz me a hello. Adios. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Joyeux Noël. Bye-bye.